Hey Metal Maniacs, this is Tom from Hateful Agony from Germany, and you are thrashing it up on the Metal Meltdown on Metal Messiah Radio with Dave Softee.
To escape our heads above stolen bricks. It's time to injury, the fires burn bright. And light drive my legions mayhem and fury. In the dark of night, beating the sky to fight. It's a fast step, stop or take what you can. Violence and destruction, the city never sleeps. Torn apart by anger and corruption. The poor, letting down neighborhood. Shopper guns trying to protect their goods. Bitch, battle in the streets, learning out of anger, neglect, and need.
right, Metal Maniacs, here we go. Please help me welcome back to Metal Messiah Radio, hailing from Berlin, Germany. Here to talk about the band's brand new offering, Home Sweet Hell, released on Punishment 18 Records on June 30th, 2023. Joining us from thrash metal band Hateful Agony, we have one of our brothers that actually used to have a show here, as you remember. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I think that was what it was called. We have welcome to, once again, Tom, the drummer of Hateful Agony.
Thanks for having me, Dave.
Thanks for wanting to be back on the show. I know that you had recently, or over the summer, I guess, you got with DJ Leatherlungs for an interview. That the album's out, and you were, it was great that you were able to get with somebody here from Metal Messiah Radio. And Leatherlungs is always a fun interview. So I'm glad that you got.
You never know what happens. Maybe you get banned, or he is banned. I couldn't contact him because he was banned again, so I had to. I think I got this email over a friend, and then we just talked on per email, via email, and then he made the interview with me because Facebook banned him already again for having like a 12-year-old.
And anyway, Tom, it's great to have you back here on the Metal Meltdown, and I want to thank you for wanting to come back, especially since you've had the album out there for a while. And I know our first interview, actually, I guess it was for a few years you wanted to come on the show to talk about your upcoming offering, but even our last interview, which was like a little bit over a year ago, we couldn't talk too much about anything because you didn't want anyone to take your ideas. I remember that very vividly. So now at least the album's out there, and you can talk about it, so that is good.
Yeah, I can talk about everything now.
I've always been impressed with what I've ever heard from Hateful Agony. You are a killer thrash metal band, but you're a very wild band, too. On your last recording, I find it very wild, exciting, ambitious, and I want to thank you also for sending me a copy of the physical CD copy of Home Sweet Hell. Appreciate that very much.
We are all metalheads, and we have to one hand washes the other, and we have to support each other. And also, I grew up in times of vinyl, and I was there when it started, when the first CDs came out. And so I always want to have a physical copy, so I send like all the people who support us a physical copy also. So I'm not a big fan of MP3s and stuff like that.
Do you think that? Really? I don't. I actually love MP3s. It's so much more convenient, especially with doing an internet radio show or being, let's say, with me on work. When I work, I listen to my iPod. It's just convenient for me to have the MP3. There's nothing wrong with having both the physical copy and the MP3. But as far as for me, I find it a lot easier to deal with the MP3. I find the sound to be great. I know people have debated about the sound quality, saying that vinyl sounds better than CD, or CD sounds better than MP3. But it depends on, I guess, the actual original recording.
It's not for me. Like music and the record, especially, is a piece of art, and I want to have the whole piece of art and not just parts of it. I want to have the cover. I want to have the thanks list. I want to have the lyrics. I want to have like the whole piece of art and not just the songs. And I want it like as complete piece and not as 3 or 4 songs that I have on my playlist. And I don't listen to MP3s at work because I really like to enjoy music like with a cup of coffee and maybe headphones and or like blasting it very loud. But it's always I just sit and I listen to what the band is playing and I try to analyze everything. So I'm not doing like, I don't know, like cleaning my room or something with the vacuum cleaner on and listening to music. It's more like that I try to analyze what the band is doing and try to get the whole concept. And I see it as an album is for me always like a complete piece of art. So I don't like to just put pieces out and listen to like 2 or 3 songs. For me, it's like always like this big picture and not just parts of it. So, but I think that's a difference of opinion. Some people think about it, of course, in another way that I do.
Well, I agree with you. I agree with you about having the artwork. That's why the LPs was so much fun, because you had, if they were the inner fold and you had the big imagery, and it was definitely artwork. Plus, if you had the lyrics that came along with it, you don't get that from an individual MP3, but you do get the thing about the MP3, it takes up less space. It's convenient.
Yeah, of course, yeah. That's but we still have some space left here in our home. I maybe just sell like some shoes and clothes from my wife, and I have more place for CDs and LPs. But fun aside, I just not a big fan of MP3s. It's maybe good if you are like writing to an open air, if you can play there, or if someone wants to know your music and you don't have the time or the money to send them the CD or the LP, you just send some MP3s. It's okay for that reason, or for a radio show. But as fan, I just like the physical copy.
I totally get you. And you had just mentioned about the beginnings of Hateful Agony. So what I want to do, you have 6 previous releases. In case the fans out there don't know, I want them to know about all your recordings. Starting with the year 2000, you have Existence is Punishment. Then
that
2000.
wasn't the first one.
That wasn't the first one?
It wasn't the first one, no.
The first full album.
It was the first full album. Yeah, you're right with that. But the first release was the Alcoholocaust demo that we did in 1999.
Okay, there you go. Well, thank you for putting that there. And then you had in 2003 Black Hole.
Yeah.
Obey in 2006.
Yep.
In the Name of God, which I was just listening to, and that was from 2008. Forward into Doom in 2012. And actually, the first album I ever heard from you was 2018's Plastic Culture Pestilence, and that was because you were part of Metal Messiah Radio, and that's what I was exposed to, and that was my first taste of Hateful Agony.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was fun. Like doing the show was fun, and like meeting with Lucas, and we always had like different ideas for the show, like a Switzerland special, or a black metal special, or like a thrash metal special, or just cover versions. And yeah, we went to the cemetery on Halloween to take pictures for the flyer, and I think it was like a very artistic time, and we had so much ideas when we started, and it was fun to have the radio show, but also lots of work. I mean, you know it for yourself, and we always had, like, for the new show, we always had a new flyer, and we had a new concept, and it was really creative, and I really liked it. But I think just Lucas got tired of it and all the work that he put in someday, and just dropped. I don't know what really happened, because well, all good things come to an end, and at some time we just stopped. But it was, for me, it was always fun, and I'm still in contact with everyone. I'm in contact with you. I was in contact with Bobby, and some other DJs from the show, and
life happens, and sometimes it's time for a change for some people, and they move on. That's what happens.
But for me, I was thinking if I maybe like do a new show together with Melissa, but I don't have contact with her anymore, so that's not going to happen, because she was always fun. But I guess it's okay. You have so much good people at Metal Messiah Radio that are there with heart and soul, and that supports the stuff. And it was also always fun to go in the chat, and that's how I get to know Bobby. We were just bullshitting in the chat, and I think, I don't know who made an interview with me, but or he listened to our show, and we were just chatting, and then I figured out he was a singer for Overlord and for Seven Witches at some point, and now for Attacker, and I was listening to all these bands, so that's how I got to know Bobby.
Yeah, and, he's a great vocalist too. Funny guy. Really
yeah,
funny
of course. Yeah, and has a great sense of humor, and it was. I really dig the Metal Messiah radio family and all the DJs, and it was always stuff, and it's still always fun, and it's always fun to listen to the show.
We appreciate that, and let's talk about the band now. Has the lineup been consistent, or have you had any changes since your inception? It happens. I know that your current lineup consists of Mac on bass, Marco on guitar, Peter on vocals, and of course you on drums. But has that been a stable lineup?
No, of course not. People say I'm hard to work with because I want to do impossible things like practicing once in a week and playing shows and recording. And I think like a lot of musicians here in Munich, especially, they have a complete different attitude towards music. It's just okay. So maybe if I have time, like from my family and from my work, maybe we can like jam a bit. And if we get good concerts, we play the concerts. And if I feel a bit sick, I stay at home. And I don't want to tour because like I have a cat and shit like that. And I was like, who cares? Get in the van, dude. Let's go on tour like for 6 weeks. I don't give a fuck as long as I can have fun and play metal and get drunk. I don't care about the consequences. I just want to be out there, bring the music out, have fun, celebrate metal, and have a good time. And if people like the record and if people like our shows, it's better. And also, I want to make the thing grow. I want to make the band grow. I want to make it bigger. I want to play better shows. And most people don't have the drive. They just want to make music when they have time for it. And other things in their life is like a more important. But for me, music, and especially thrash metal, was always like the number one priority. And I did a lot of sacrifices for the band. And of course, there are a lot of people who are not willing to do this.
Let's spend some time talking about Home Sweet Hell. Now, this I see is released on Punishment 18 Records. What led you to sign with them? Did they make you a great offer?
No, sadly, the guy who signed us for Violent Creek Records died. And I was in contact with him, with Bauke, most of the time, and we wrote emails and called about the releases from Forward into Doom, from Plastic Culture Pestilence. So when he died, I think there wasn't really someone who was like there for us, and it was hard to find someone to speak with or to write emails or to. It was always super fast when I talked to him, and we agreed, and it was always on the same level. And he was a nice guy, and when he died, there was no one who took care of us.
Sorry to hear that.
I felt a bit left alone. So I was thinking, okay, so maybe we just write some other labels. Maybe they want to release it, or they are more supportive and are interested that we play like more concerts or answer emails. I mean, I always want to make it bigger. I want to sell more records. I want to play more shows. I want to play with bigger bands. I want to go like on more open airs, because for me it's all fun, and I want to see how far we can go without like selling ourselves, without like doing like something different to sell more records. It's what I hate. I love bands like Motorhead and Sodom, who are like consistent in what they do, and they are not like fucking over their fans with like a new record with a new logo where they get like totally different music and just to sell more records. I want to be successful and play better shows with the style that we do, and not change for like the money or the fame. It's just I want to make this grow, but without selling myself.
Right, like you want a label that will give you video support and stuff like that.
Yeah. So we felt like there was no one there, and I felt a bit left alone. So I was just searching for another label, and I really get along great with the guys in Punishment 18, and they are always supportive, and they have good ideas, and we work together good. So I have really nothing bad to say about the record company. And maybe it's what you said before. Maybe it was just time for a change.
Right.
Tons of great bands like Alcoholizer and Chronosphere and Schizo. And I had a lot of Punishment 18 releases at home. So I thought maybe we give it a try. Also, our singer lives in Italy. And, well, it's not bad to have an Italian label if one of the members lives in Italy. And for me, living in South Germany, it's the same if I go to North Germany or if I go to South Italy. It's like 6-hour travel, and maybe we can play some bigger open airs in Italy. We played some open airs in Germany already over the years, so maybe we should focus more on Italy and open airs and gigs we have never played before.
Expand your horizons.
Yeah, of course. I love to travel because you get to know more people, and if you know the people from the country, you get a real picture of the country and not just what is on the media. They tell you how they live, how they work, and how the political climate is in the country, and you can learn a lot from the people if you travel and not just get what the TV tells you, how to think about different countries. In Germany, it's like we have a lot of propaganda, and people here like American people are dumb, and I have a lot of American friends on my friends list, and none of them are idiots or dumb or anything. It's like you have to make your experience on your own. You have to go to the countries and meet the people and learn something about the culture, which is not force-fed. You have to make your own experiences.
The album was recorded at OGM Studios. What could you tell us about OGM Studios? And as far as the production, who was responsible for the mixing, the mastering, and the production of Home Sweet Hell?
We went to the studio, and I was talking to different studios, and sadly the studio where we recorded Plastic Culture Pestilence doesn't exist no more because they went bankrupt during Corona, and the guy doesn't produce bands anymore. He gave us a really good sound on Plastic Culture Pestilence. I always loved this type of dry and bass laden sound that like the Morris Sound records had, like stuff like Demolition Hammer or D-Side or Sepultura, all that Scott Burns and Tom Morris did. So I asked him to make a sound for the Plastic Culture Pestilence, which is a bit like the stuff that the Morris Sound Studios did in the early 90s. And we hadn't found ourselves a new studio, so I was talking to people from different studios to find someone who has the right sound for us, the right production, and the right attitude. And I don't want to have like some super clean modern production that it's like, I don't know, I listen to some metal CDs and it sounds like it's a production for a pop act or something, because everything is so fucking clean and the dirt is missing, and it's for me it's way too much modern and too much triggered and too much clean, and I want to have like a real good old school death thrash metal production, but something where you can hear like all the instruments very loud and clear. And I think he gave us, Sebastian was his name, he gave us the best productions that we can have, and he was really interested in us. And he came like more from the metalcore genre, but he really took his time. I wrote him down like 10 records in our style that he has to listen to, and he got himself a picture about thrash metal and how to produce it, because it's totally different from like metalcore bands or deathcore bands and stuff that he grew up because of his age. And and I think he gave us a really good, loud and clear production, which is not too polished and too clean.
There's definitely a certain rawness to Home Sweet Hell. It's not overproduced, and actually when I listen to it, I could see it as it was being performed live. It sounds like you could take it right from the CD to the stage without changing the sound at all. A lot of those bands you're talking about that are over-polished, overproduced, they can't perform that sound live. It'll never be that way.
Of course not. I think there's some bands who are great on studio records, like for instance, like Fear Factory on studio record. Everything is like very tight and it's very good produced, and of course the guy can play, but live it's a whole different story. And then you have bands which are like not so good and a bit boring on record. Like for me, a lot of the traditional heavy metal bands are a bit boring to listen to on record, but they are great live because it has a certain rawness which is missing on record when they play live. So I hope we are a band which is good live and on CD and on vinyl on our releases. For me, I don't like this overproduced stuff and the super clean stuff, and we are not a folk metal band. And I think like thrash metal always has to have like a punk edge and has to be like raw and aggressive and in your face, and not a sound which is like for a pop act.
Right, I got you. And let's talk about the artwork for Home Sweet Hell. There's a lot going on in there. It looked like it took ages to make this album cover. Who was responsible? Who designed the album cover?
It's always like the same guy like the last time. We had a guy from the old school crew, and they are mostly like drawing the typical cliche heavy metal cover, you know, with a lot of boobs and the Manowar muscle guys and warriors with swords and fires and motorbikes, you know, everything every 12-year-old loves. But I had like a different opinion for a different vision for our record covers, and for me, like for Plastic Culture Pestilence, it's a political cover. It was like we wanted to do something that Ed Repka would have like painted in the 80s, something like John Carpenter made with his movies. We want to have like a more political, social, critical message. Like all the bands I grew up with, like Evil Dead and DRI and Megadeth, and all these bands had, and I want to make a statement with the lyrics also. And we continued that with the Home Sweet Hell cover artwork, and I wanted to break a bit with the tradition of the political covers that we had before on Forward into Doom and Plastic Culture Pestilence, and I want to make a more like personal and darker cover artwork. So I had like this idea of your home is something where you should feel safe and where you should feel like accepted and where you should feel good, but that's not the reality for a lot of people. Also for me when I was growing up, not. So this was my idea to paint like a cover artwork, Home Sweet Hell, where a place where you have to feel safe and welcomed and loved is like a living hell, and you have no escape from your school, from the reality, from your job, whatever makes you sad, and even your home is worse than that. So you have no point where you can like flee and regain strength. It's all like a living hell. So that was the title, Home Sweet Hell. And I want to visualize it. So we have the guy who is shooting heroin. We have the fighting parents. We have the narcissistic daughter who is making constantly pictures of her butt and like of her face, and sign of the times, the whole iPhone generation. And we have the TV where like on all the stuff that influence you through the media is on. And we put all this into one picture, and I'm really happy that we are also releasing the Home Sweet Hell on LP, because on LP you can see the details of the cover artwork much better.
As I was saying, that's where you really see the artwork, is when you have the vinyl, the big fold out and all that. So yeah, that is excellent. And thank you for describing that so well. That's really how the world is right now, all on one album cover.
Yeah,
Serious.
It's just I'm a bit hangover, so I'm always searching for words. We were just playing a gig yesterday, and I'm trying to find the right words, which is not always easy. But yeah, I think you got the picture. And I always love to like sit there as a kid and read all the lyrics and okay, there's the songs list. Which bands are in the songs list? They must be good. If this band is good, all the bands they greet must be great too. And okay, Rotting Corpse and Intruder and Devastation and Dark Angel. I read the names down, and I went to the record store and searching for the records, and I always looked at the pictures. Now, okay, the dudes are wearing like Slayer shirts and Metallica shirts, so that record must be good. And also the cover artwork was very important for me. I fell in love with the cover artwork from A Higher Form of Killing from Intruder. The only reason I bought this LP was because of the artwork, and I was never let down if a band had an artwork like this. And I wanted to have an artwork like this, and I'm not a big fan of this typical cliche metalhead warrior titties cover, so I wanted to make something different and more political in that way. Also, some people said it reminds them of Cracked Brain from Destruction, but that was never like my intention. It just happens that this maybe influenced me visually. Also, the SNFU cover from one of the records also shows a portrait of a family, and the shirt from Slayer, the Hanging Boy shirt artwork. It's also stuff that's a bit in our recent cover.
Yeah, I could see that, but also I could think that your inspiration for your album cover is actually the state of the world as it is today.
Yeah, because at one point I just stopped listening. I just stopped reading books, because like reading a book is like always thinking with someone else's brain, and I was like, I don't want to be influenced by someone else anymore. I just want to take influences from stuff that I see myself, and I want to like work on my own thoughts and make lyrics and not like just repeat what someone else was writing in this book. So I take a look at the people around me. I love to just sit there and watch people, watch how the conversation is, watch how they feel, and I like to observe people and make up my own thoughts and, you know, draw my own picture of the world. And of course, that's what our cover artworks are now. And maybe this is like a more personal cover artwork than the ones before, because it's not so political. It's like more about everything, more about like personal things and darker, and more about the state of society, as you just said today.
Yeah, well, I think that we could all respect what you're saying, and having it come from your own thoughts, that is really important. Now, you were just talking about your gig last night, so let's talk about your recent live performances. Tell us where you played, who you played with, and how drunk you got if you want, and also your upcoming shows.
I think everyone knows that I was fucking drunk yesterday because I'm sounding like fucking stuttering John.
You're sounding fine, bro. Really, you're doing a great job. Seriously, you're doing a great job.
We played with Blind Illusion, which are big friends from us. I love all the guys. They're super funny. It's always great to play with them. Also, like the Sane Asylum, in my opinion, is like one of the best records of the Bay Area. That was one reason why I got like Mark Biederman to play a solo on the record, and he played a kick-ass solo on The Night the Lights Went Out. We played with my all-time favorite band Carnivore from Brooklyn, New York. And for me, like the first two, especially like the Retaliation record, is like the fucking Bible. I love that record. And I got to meet like Joe Cangelosi, who was also a creator, and Whiplash, and I love like all the creator and Whiplash things he did, and the demo he did for Massacre. And I think the guitarist was in Crumbsuckers too, like a kick-ass New York hardcore band. The Crumbsuckers, the true Crumbsuckers records are great. And we played with a lot of bands from our area and from Frankfurt. It's just great to play with like bands where you bought the record as a teenager, and know you are sharing like the same stage with them, and they are asking you for parts of your drum kit, or hey man, can I play your cymbals? Okay, there's like a guy from Creator or Whiplash who asked me if he can like play parts of my drum set. It's insane. I love it.
Pretty interesting, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a dream come true. And and next year we want to play a lot of open airs, and we play a tour through Greece, Italy, and Germany. But I can't say too much about the tour right now. I can say it when the dates are on and when the advertisement for the tour starts. But I won't say now. It's the same reason like the last time, because some people will listen to what I say on the radio and try to make it work with their own band, or try to sabotage it. That's like the sad truth that we have here with our music scene. But we have definitely planned a lot of shows, and I want to play everywhere. I don't care if we get like the gas money, and if we get something to eat, and if we get enough beer. We play your fucking best. I don't care. I want to go out and play, and I love the records, and I still want to play with all the bands from my record collection. And I don't care if they're like smaller venues or smaller bands that want to share the stage with us. I'm going to do that too. So as long as I'm happy, as long as I can go out and play.
Let's talk about merch now, because that's really important right now. Let's talk about, you were talking about the vinyl. Where would be the best place for the fans to get that? Is that going to be released, or is it being released through Punisher 18? And what other merch do you have available for your fans, including the CD or whatever you may have? What actually do you have available to the fans, and where would be the best place to get it?
If you want to get merch, just mail on our Facebook site. It's www.facebook.com/Hateful Agony Thrash, or just go to Instagram and search for the Hateful Agony site, and just write a mail. We have T-shirts in all sizes, and we have the CDs. We still have like some vinyls left from Plastic Culture Pestilence, but not too much. We have CDs from Plastic Culture Pestilence and from the new record, of course. The record will be re-released through Punishment 18 Records, I think in December or January. Yeah, we're just doing the graphics now and the inlay. Yeah, so if you want to have a shirt or like the CD from or the vinyl from the last two releases, just write. Everything else like patches and pins and stuff is sold out. We have to make new patches and new stickers and new pins next year, or maybe if we have enough money in December, because everything is sold out. We just have shirts left in all sizes.
I see. Okay, that's cool. Thank you for that information. And one thing I'm happy to see is that you actually have a video out there, a lyric video for The Night the Lights Went Out, and that's released through Punishment 18 Records. Is there a plan for more music or lyrical videos to promote the new album?
For me, the best way to promote a metal band is just to tour and just to play. And as much fun as like the video thing is, I think a metal band should be on the road and should play their asses off in every city and stay relevant and just go in the van, just get into the fucking van, go on the street and promote your music through live shows. And it's a necessary evil. I mean, the internet is good for a band, but I really hate to spend so much time in front of my fucking computer. I want to just go out and play. Yeah. So I just see if we can play as much shows as we can next year, because for me it's also a community thing. I love to be out there with the metalheads. I love to drink. I love to discuss the music. I love to like see new bands, like get new bands, music for free, get drunk for free, meet new people, see different countries where I have not been, eat new food. So I really want to go out and play, and I don't care if we like do another video. I mean, of course, if the label says we have to do another label, we do it, but I'm not making plans on making a new video. So I'm making plans on playing shows.
I understand you, and I think that videos are always good for promotion, but there are bands out there that don't do live gigs, and that's all they have. But it's good to have in addition to doing the live gigs. That's what I think, anyway.
For me, that's what a band is all about. If you suck live, you're not a good band. So I'm just trying that we are getting tighter, and I try to keep people motivated. Sometimes it's hard to even motivate myself, but everything has its ups and downs, and at the moment I'm enjoying it, of course, because of the concert yesterday. And I told you the reasons before why I want to go out and play. So for me, metal was always about like release a record and just go on tour and play your ass off. Doesn't matter if there are like 3 people or 300 people or 3,000 people. Just give your best and try to have a good time, and learn something new, meet new people, meet new bands, listen to new music that you get on the road. I still trade with other bands. I'm still a fan. I'm doing this not because to become popular as a person or something like this. I'm a thrash metal fan, and I want to spend my time with the music and the people I like. That's it.
I appreciate your outlook on that, and very positive too. And is there anything that you'd like to say to your fans that are tuning in from around the world at this time?
Yeah, thanks for supporting us. Thanks for supporting thrash metal in general, or metal in general. Just do what you want. Don't let others tell you what to do. Make up your own mind. Don't let the media influence you too much. Don't follow current trends. Just be yourself. Try to help each other where you can. It's just and maybe just if people tell you cannot do like this or that, just try to prove them wrong. Just fuck you, I'm doing it anyway,
Great
just
idea.
Stick to your beliefs.
Right.
Buy our merch. I need new socks.
There you go. And before we go crank up more Hateful Agony, I want to make sure we brought out all the news we can to the listeners. That being said, is there anything else we could bring to them? Is there anything else you want to mention?
the moment, if you can and if you have the time and if you have not seen this movie yet and if you love especially the German thrash metal scene, just check out the documentary Teutonic Thrash, Total Thrash, the Teutonic story from Daniel Hoffmann. It's like everything from start in the early 80s until now, what happened in the German thrash metal scene. All the bands are there from like the first bands like Sodom and Creator until now with bands like Ravager and Dustbolt and us. So if you like German thrash metal and if you want to support the scene and if you're interested in the history and about what like fans and the people have to say, it's a really good documentary. Check out Total Thrash, the Teutonic story from Daniel Hoffmann. He's also like a very idealistic fan. He put a lot of money and effort into the movie and it's now a big success, which makes me very happy. There are premieres for the movie all over the world. So if you can, check out Total Thrash, the Teutonic story, and support your local scene, support your local bands, and buy the merchandise and buy the CDs because that's how it grows.
Is this film new or is it a classic?
It's new. It was released last year, and there was a premiere in Essen, and I went to the premiere, and everyone was there. They were like the Destruction guys, they were like the Sodom guys, they were like the Creator guys, Holy Moses, Darkness, every German thrash metal band, big or small, underground or major, everyone was there. It was sold out, the cinema with over 1,000 people. It was a hell of a party, and the movie is great.
I don't think that I've seen it, so I'm gonna have to go online and look for it. Thanks for the info.
I sent you a link. Everyone who saw it, I never heard like, there was one guy who was complaining about there are too much new bands, blah blah blah. But it's about like the whole history of German thrash metal, and it covers the whole history. And if you are interested in not just the music, also the historical facts, and funny stories from people like Sodom or from Tankard, who can always share like good stories. And if you're interested in thrash metal, just check it out. I sent you the link. And I sent you Daniel's Facebook contact, so you can just maybe make an interview with him.
Sounds like a good idea, actually. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for that.
You will be happy. Yeah, the movie's great.
I'm definitely going to check that out. And thank you for coming back on the show, Tom. Thanks for being here again on Metal Meltdown. It was great to actually talk to you about Home Sweet Hell. And I know that you work hard with the band and you have a lot of fun with the band too. And you enjoy what you do and you have a passion for it. So you always will have a home here on Metal Meltdown or on Metal Messiah Radio in general. You could always come back on anybody's show here. I'm sure about that. May you have success and may you keep making music for us so we can enjoy your music. I appreciate that, and I look forward to hearing more news about you and your upcoming shows when it is available to be talked about. So keep doing what you do, and we'll be here to play your music and to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, great. I'm totally happy for your support. Also, I want to greet everyone, like Mr. Torres and Leather Lungs and Melissa and everyone who was on the show, and everyone who buys our stuff, and everyone who supports us, and everyone who supports metal in general, and it makes this a great home for everyone, you know. So yeah, thanks for having me, Dave.
Of course, I appreciate that you wanted to come back on the show, and we appreciate that. And we have a great what's left of today, and thank you for wanting to be back with Metal Messiah Radio, and keep doing what you do. Let's go crank up some more thrash from Home Sweet Hell, and let's crank it up loud.